This tutorial is part of our AV Quickstart series, here at the First Unitarian Church of Omaha. This is the third tutorial in the series. Make sure you are following the tutorials in the order shown on screen. If you have questions or encounter problems, consult your tech coordinator, another volunteer, or reference the troubleshooting guide as needed. In this video, we will cover the basics of how to set up and run our video equipment for a service. Before starting this tutorial, make sure to ask your worship leader if they have any media they want to present. The term media will include things like video, pre-recorded audio, slideshows, etc. Pause the video here while you ask. If they have no media to show, proceed as normal. If they do have media, skip to the Quickstart media tutorial when you're ready to move on from this one. As another disclaimer, before we start working with the streaming computer, remember that you should not be shutting down Windows at any point. If you have a specific reason to shut it down, you can restart it instead. Proper post-service instructions are outlined in the shutdown video, found in the AV Training Materials catalog. First, find the wireless keyboard and mouse near the video station. Make sure both of them are switched on. If the screen isn't on, press the spacebar and see if it wakes up. If there are no lights on screen after a few seconds, feel along the bottom right of the screen until you find a small button in the corner. Press it and wait for a small blue light above the button. The screen should turn on at this point. You should see either a picture slideshow screensaver or a blue background with the Windows login screen, as shown here. Press the spacebar until it asks you to enter a password and type it in. For security reasons, I won't say the password here, but if you need it, you can ask another tech volunteer or the tech coordinator. Hit enter once the password is typed in, and this should bring you to the desktop. If at any point you're moving the mouse around and can't find the cursor, press the Control key and a circle will appear over it. Now, find an icon that looks like this, labeled OBS. There are two places you'll find it, either on the taskbar or on the desktop, and either option will open the same program. Now this is an important warning. Once OBS is open, be extra careful not to hit the button labeled Start or the button with the stop sign icon until this tutorial instructs you to do so. If you press either by mistake, consult the troubleshooting guide or your coordinator as soon as possible. Once the icon is clicked, 3 windows should open. 2 of them you will be able to see on your screen, and 1 of them you won't. The 2 you can see will be referred to as the main window and the multi-view window. The one not on screen will be called the projector window. The projector window is the screen being sent to the basement so folks can watch from the common room. Check and make sure they are all open by hovering your mouse cursor over the OBS icon on the taskbar as shown on screen. You should see some small screens pop up above the OBS icon, which should look similar to this. Note that the largest screen may show a different camera angle than you see here. As long as you still see a screen that looks like this, you're good. Now that OBS is open, let's begin checking to make sure we're ready to start the service. Firstly, let's double check and make sure none of our cameras seem noticeably wrong. Scan over the angles displayed on the multi-view window in OBS to see if any of them look out of the ordinary. If you see one or more camera angles that are too dark to see, out of focus, or pointed in a weird direction, call your tech coordinator if they are not there in person. Finally, we'll ensure that the audio is being sent from the soundboard to the stream properly. Click on this tab in the main window, labeled Audio Mixer. Ask your sound volunteer to unmute either the choir or congregation microphone and clap your hands until you see this green meter light up. If you don't see any reaction on the meters as demonstrated on screen, consult your tech coordinator. The last thing you need to do is select the correct stream for the current date. Click on the button that says Manage Broadcast, click on Choose Broadcast at the top of the screen. Click on the option with the current date, then click Select Broadcast, not Start Broadcasting. All that's left to do once that has been set up is wait until there's 5 to 10 minutes before the service begins to start the stream. There are 2 ways to start the stream. The first option is pressing the Start button on the bottom left of the video controller as shown on screen. The second option is to click the button that says Start Streaming, then click on the button that says Start Recording. If done correctly, the button should change color and read Stop Recording and Stop Streaming as shown on screen. You should also see these displays on the bottom of the main screen, which should look like this. Now that everything is ready for the service, the hardest part is over. You only have 2 things to focus on during the stream. Your main goal is to pay attention to where the action of the service is happening, and click on the camera angle that best captures that in the multi-view screen. You'll see that whatever angle you have selected in the multi-view window will be highlighted and displayed on the main window. We have a lot of different camera options to choose from, but the only one that matters is the one that shows what the audience is meant to be looking at. A majority of the time, I found that if you just show whatever is making noise, you'll be good. The other rule of thumb we follow is that when in doubt, you should always switch to our widest angle shown here, so the audience has something to look at while you look for a better angle. The other thing to focus on is called attributions, which will be discussed soon in the section at the end of this video. Don't forget, you'll need to shut the stream down right when the service ends, so follow that shutdown tutorial as soon as the service concludes. Alright, there are a few options for you at this point in the video. If there is less than 10 minutes before the service starts, you can stop the video here and you're ready for the service. If you still need to follow the media tutorial, find it in the catalog or the description of this video and get started with that. If there is no media to set up, we'll go over how to set up and run our attributions file. In this context, the term attributions means a set of text pop-ups on screen that credit the title and author of a song or book used during the service. First, we'll open the attributions spreadsheet. Find the icon that looks like this labeled Attributions Spreadsheet, click it, and a spreadsheet window should open up that looks like this. At the top you'll see 3 buttons. Click on the one that says Import and wait a few seconds to see if the rows populate themselves as shown on screen. When the top row of information matches with the date and title of the service, click on the button that says Export to OBS and wait a few seconds. Then, click on the multi-view window for OBS and test out the attributions by pressing the buttons along the top row of the video controller. The numbers 1 through 9 on there should match with the entries 1 through 9 on the spreadsheet. Press this button on the top right of the pad to clear any attributions off the screen. If all of them seem to be loaded correctly, you're ready for the service. During the service, while you're switching between camera angles, make sure that when a new song starts playing or a storybook is being shared, you find the entry number in the attribution sheet with the name of that song and press the corresponding key on the video controller, as demonstrated on screen. Our rule of thumb is that switching to the right camera angle always takes priority, so focus on that first when a song or story starts, and then check the attributions. If you have an order of service to look at, that will provide all the names of songs and books in order if you need help following along. Once you display an attribution, let it stay on screen for about 15 to 30 seconds, and then press the button on the top right to clear it off. And that's all there is to it. From here, check on the sound volunteer or start the media tutorial depending on what needs to be finished and how close you are to the start of the service.